Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
Go.
The best podcast that you can listen to.
best.
The best. I was talking into my glass.
Simply the
That's weird.
best.
Who's better than all the rest?
Who?
Better than all the rest. Whoever was simply the best.
This is Jerry with the Board Game Snobs.
The
The Board Game Snobs podcast. With me is the host, Gaby,
Hello.
and our friend Enrique.
Hey guys.
And this podcast is about board games, but not necessarily about board games. We talk about board games, but also we talk about up-and-coming things that might be going on in the world around us. What are the things that are going on in the world around us, Gaby?
Well, I can tell you.
Tell me.
Speaking
please.
of the world, Michael Jordan makes more money from Nike annually than all of the Nike factory workers in Malaysia combined.
That sounds about right.
How
to
does
be
that
all
make
honest.
you feel?
How's that make me feel?
Yeah.
I, as somebody who's never bought Jordans or owned Jordans,
You're guilt-free.
I'm guilt-free. I do own a Chicago Bulls 1994 championship T-shirt that my wife continually tries to throw away, but I will not.
Is it original
Yes.
from 1994?
Yes.
Oh geez. That's a lot of money.
It has holes in it. It's nice, and it's mine, and it's made of
Well,
this.
of course it's got holes in it.
It's made of like some sort of.
Or else how would your arms get through?
It's made of like
Zoinka, zoinka.
made some sort of material that's like very soft. It's like the
Cotton.
Yes, that's it. Next banter point, please.
You bet.
Follow us on Board Game Snobs on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, or email us at boardgamesnobs@gmail.com.
Human fingers are so sensitive
They are.
that if your fingers were the size of Earth, can you imagine? That's one big finger.
Oh, I picked my nose. With Australia.
You could.
Because your hand would be like, yeah. We have a lot of listeners in Queensland. I'm sorry.
You could feel the difference between a house and a car.
Okay.
Well, yeah, because you can tell that doesn't. Where do you get these facts?
I didn't really get that.
That
one when I
doesn't make
read
a
it.
lot of difference. I don't understand that fact.
I mean, a house and a car are that big a difference in size.
They are a
Guys.
big difference in size.
Obviously.
What depends on what size house you're talking about.
Like a double wide. Like a double wide.
Unless you're living in your car, then that could like
Yes. What if your car car was your domicile?
half of this is interesting. This is interesting.
I'm listening. Let me drink some of my Topo Chico.
Half of all humans who have ever lived have died from
malaria.
I was about to say that. Oh no!
How did you know that?
I didn't. That's the first thing that came in my mind.
I was about to say malaria.
Were you really?
Yes.
I would have said scarlet fever, the plague,
No, not the plague.
the flu,
The scarlet.
common cold, sore throat,
See,
Ebola,
That's why. No.
hailstones,
That's why. Are you just naming stuff?
tornadoes.
The piles. That's why people with sickle cell.
Way to go biblical.
Yeah, Gomer Pile. That's why the people with
Sorge.
sickle cell anemia tend to be resistant against certain types of malaria. So they think that might have something to do with why people with sickle cell anemia tend to do better in living in places of Africa where they have that type of malaria. Like they've developed that through people dying off and those that were
It's
resistant.
not really like
I'm very.
But there's like
impressed
4
with this.
different types of malaria, if I'm not mistaken. Go on. I'm listening.
Well,
And
we're-
so are our listeners. And we love you all for having to put up with this banter section that I am contractually obligated to take part in.
While working on
Oh, you poor
Pac-Man,
child.
video game designer, oh gosh,
Oh god.
Toru
Oh, you mean
Awatani?
the? Have I
Maybe it's the no.
Don't act like
Was
you know
allegedly inspired by the shape of a pizza with one slice removed.
that. Nice. So what happened with Mrs.
Pac-Man.
Pac-Man?
They got divorced. Who got the kids?
sad.
I used to watch the Pac-Man cartoon on USA.
I used
You
to
watch a Pac-Man cartoon.
I used to watch the Mario Bros. Cartoon.
I think
I
I've
didn't know-
watched a 3D version of of a Pac-Man cartoon?
Kind of look like Sonic now that you're mentioning it.
With my fluffed out hair, man.
Yeah, do you know that Enrique uses a hair dryer?
Really jealous of your
He
hair.
uses a hair dryer.
Not the hair on your lip.
Not just on his hair, but all over his entire body.
Wait.
Yes.
Say again.
He uses a hair dryer.
He being Enrique.
Enrique uses a hair dryer to dry himself off after a shower.
Is that because your body's covered in hair, therefore the hair dryer?
Yes. I'm glad someone actually knows this.
He has burnt out multiple hair dryers.
It's only been 3,
What about a towel? Do you use a towel?
No!
Yes.
So you towel...
You towel off.
You
and then
towel off?
You finish off with a hair dryer.
Yes.
Then a warm touch.
What kind of hair dryer do you use?
I love the warm air on my cold, wet body. That sounds like the beginning of a novel.
As I stood in the Hotel 6, utilizing their cheap hotel blow dryer,
6.
I realized to myself, I don't know where I'm going with this.
What a wonder. The average hummingbird's heart rate is more than 1,200 beats per minute.
A what?
A hummingbird's heart rate.
Yes. Have you ever seen a hummingbird egg?
My little hummingbird. Have I ever seen a hummingbird egg?
Egg.
Egg? What?
Egg.
It's not AIG. It's egg.
Egg.
Why do you talk like that?
I have a speech
Because he
impediment.
drinks.
No. No, that's like, there's a guy I know, he's from like the Dakotas, and he says like bag.
Bag.
Let me grab my bag and we'll go. Like, what?
Well,
It's not a long
why
A.
are you
It's a short
Why
A.
are you vocabulary shaming me?
Well, on the
Why do you
last
always say
podcast,
shaming?
you did.
You fat shame me. I can vocabulary
I
shame
have
you.
never fat shamed you.
You fat shamed my
You
head
go back
the
to
other
all of
day.
our episodes.
No, you definitely fat
And
shamed
you
him.
listen. I have never once said anything.
No, you definitely do.
Yes, thank you.
You don't know.
You don't. You do it directly,
I think there's too much
indirectly.
shaming.
You do it in
I'm
references.
shaming right now.
You do it a lot of
wait a
Shame
minute.
squared.
Are you saying that we should just stop shaming people altogether?
No, because
I
then
don't know.
that wouldn't be fun.
That's a topic of discussion I don't want to have.
I don't want to shame anybody.
I like the movie Shane.
Shane. He dies in the end, don't you think?
Yes.
I don't know.
No, he rides off into the sunset.
I think he dies. I think he slumped over in his chair, in his horse. in
Oh,
his
he was
saddle.
shot, wasn't he?
He was shot.
Oh, that's kind of sad.
And keeping with that, I want to look at some.
Is that how the Mandalorian's going to end?
Yeah. Mando!
I at least want Cad Bane to come in an appearance in the Mandalorian.
Chris Peterson.
Who? Wait. Stop. Wait, what?
There's a lot of people who are speculating that what was it?
Wait. Are you going to give any spoilers?
No.
Yeah, we don't do spoilers
this
here.
is only speculation.
We don't do
Okay.
spoilers nor
In the
shame.
What is it? Speculation about something that's occurred in the show?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well then that we can't. We can't.
He thinks that Cad Bane is going to show up in the
A
show.
lot of people are suspecting that Cad
Oh, well, you can say that.
in the 4th episode at the ending.
Wait. Shh. We can't talk about the final episode.
There's people that listen in Europe. We're big in Europe.
We're huge.
Yeah, you're
We're
right.
huge
Right.
in Europe.
Thank you. You stopped me both, and I didn't realize.
We're
it
also
at
big in
first.
Australia. We've had a lot of good fans that have been emailing us from Australia. I don't know what
Australia
what
is they're all about
I don't
us.
know what it is. Chris Peterson sent us an
They're
email.
our brothers.
Hey, he says, I've acquired Gold West in Australia because
Why y'all both
you
laughing?
like them.
And stare at me sternly.
He asks, have you tried a Vindication? Well, I will say this. I've not played Vindication the game, but I've done Vindication in real life.
I've been vindicated.
I have been vindicated in normal times. There's a legit game that y'all might like. Now, I've heard a lot about
There's a legit game you might like.
Vindication. He then goes on to say, there might be something wrong with me
There
since
might be something wrong with me.
I have started to listen to Board Game Snobs
Since I have started to listen to Board Game Snobs.
before any other podcast.
Wait, now I'm kind of merging into Jason Statham.
Yeah.
Gotta go.
Gotta go.
Megalodon.
Hey,
Shark.
Joel sent us an email. Joel says, hey, he's from Deep South, Australia.
Wait, what did you say?
He says he's pronounced.
Sound like you said Deep South, Australia.
He did. It's spelled that way.
Okay.
That's right. Another Aussie on board, listening back through the catalog and enjoying. it.
Lord.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why is it?
Cool, could grab you.
I think that we.
I love the Australian accent.
I do too. I think it's because
Because it's one of the few I can terribly do.
I think because it reminds us of ours.
It is. It's like the southern accent of England.
It is. Texan
It's the deep
Australians.
south of England.
Deep south of England. We do love our listeners. We couldn't, well, I was about to say we couldn't do it without you, but since we would do it without anybody.
We started without you.
We don't need you. But no, if you want to send us an email, please do. boardgamesnobs@gmail.com. We do appreciate. Oh, and that reminds me, some quick housekeeping.
You remind me.
Thank you, Bat.
Huh?
Thank you, Nickelback.
No, thank you.
Towards the end of the year, we need everybody to send me an email. Just attention, jury. Of your favorite game of 2019.
Why is it just you?
Because you're not going to read it.
I'm not
I read stuff before you do half the time.
half the time, but the other half the time, it works every
so
time.
50-50. So attention, Gaby or Jerry, which is literally boardgamesnobs@gmail.com.
What's your favorite game of 2019 is? Because we're going to have our Snobbies Award come out on the first of the year.
Okay, I need details on how that's going to work. Because are me and you going to choose?
No.
Are we going to have a weighted vote towards what the audience says?
We're going to do like a sort of a weird People's Choice what Jerry thinks.
What if they all think like the best game of the year is Cartographers?
Well, then we'll have to segregate it out and be like the people who are wrong like this game, but us who are, that.
Okay, so basically a Dice Tower top 10. Because they have theirs, and then they have the People's Choice.
Who's the Dice Tower? I don't know those people.
That's minus Sam. I know that.
Who?
Plus Mike.
Who?
Shout out to Mike.
Okay.
Delicio.
Hey, that means there's a spot open on Sporadically Board.
Okay.
Peace out. I'm out of here. Hey, Dan, give me a call.
Dan would never have someone like you on his show. He has respect for himself. Besides, what would me and Enrique do?
Well, I would do nothing.
Okay, I want to talk about one of the best games I've played in a long
Wait. I have an idea for a
time.
TV show that has been on my mind, and I need to get it out there.
All right, you have 10 seconds. Go. Sell it to me.
You've seen the show The Mentalist.
One episode. Go.
And what does he do in that show?
He thinks deeply.
He looks at people, assesses the situation, and solves crimes just by, like Sherlock Holmes style almost.
Yeah.
Almost.
Powers of deduction.
Deduction.
I got a show for a porta potty worker.
Huh?
A porta potty worker.
Okay.
You know what that is, right?
Yes, I do.
Like a porta john. You know what that is, Enrique?
I do.
Obviously.
I've utilized those.
Okay.
A latrine.
Okay. Outside bathroom. Let's say he looks in the toilet, deciphers things that have been left behind. It's called the excrementalist.
Okay. The pride I see on your face right now. I'm going to say it's okay. It's okay.
He's the excrementalist.
So, like,
You can't even talk about this right now. You know you can't.
you realize that, okay.
I wrote that out. That was a joke. That's going to go on my stand-up hour.
You're special.
My special.
Look here, John. I can tell
Wait.
that this
Is it-
person eats a lot of fiber.
Wait, is it the number 2 special?
Oh, no. Okay, thank you. Is there anything else you want to get out before?
No.
Anything else you've been holding
I
back?
want to hold back my other gems for later.
Okay. City of the Big Shoulders, which tagline is stormy, husky, and brawling, which is basically you.
Who? Me?
City of the Big Shoulders, designed by, is that Mr. Chandler, I believe, the third? What was the name of the first name on there? I can't remember.
It's a big heavy box.
Raymond Chandler the
City of the
third.
Big Shoulders comes in a big heavy box.
I got to meet Raymond Chandler the third at BGG.
Really?
Yes, where he set up his game, I believe, his company, which is called Parallel Games. He's peddling City of the Big Shoulders, and he was there demonstrating it. And I got to show up and say, number one, thank you for sending me this game because I couldn't find it anywhere else. And two, how much I enjoyed it, and got to speak to him a little bit about just the design process in his company. And I asked him a very straightforward question that I probably shouldn't just go around asking, but I said, is your game a success? I said, do you feel like your game is a success? And he
Define success.
And he says, yes. And I then asked exactly that. Define success. He says, well, I did a print run of this many games. It sold out. And I did another print run, which is about to sell out. And he says, so in my book, if I sell out this many games, it's a success. I have sold out almost double that. So yes, it's a success. And I thought,
wow.
Very nice. It pleased me.
Good for you, Chandler.
It pleased me to be able to talk to a publisher who obviously loves his game so much that he put so much effort into the design, but also the artwork and everything about it, and be able to sit and talk to him about the strategy of the game. I had several questions about the various strategies found in City of the Big Shoulders, which is for our listeners, a heavy economic, kind of based off of a 18xx game where you're starting companies. Each player begins with one company, but you can start multiple companies throughout the game. You can invest in other players' companies. You can sell out of companies. You can do hostile takeovers. And then interspersed amongst all that, there's a worker placement aspect and a resource management type game going on. A little bit of engine building even. And so it's a very in-depth, very heavy game. And it was one that when I first read the rule book on it, I was a little bit iffy on whether or not I would like it or not. I thought maybe it was almost too, what's the word? Not quaint. It was almost a little bit
dry?
over, not dry. It was almost over my head. Like it was obviously an 18xx.
Convoluted?
No, not convoluted. It's like an 18xx style game, and I'm not quite there yet. Like I enjoy investing in
complicated.
Complicated. I'll just say complicated. I enjoy investing.
As Avril Lavigne said.
I enjoy investing in games, but I didn't know if I would like a game that's obviously this heavy. I got to say that I'm not going to say what I'm about to say. I want to ask Gaby his opinion. Go ahead. Tell me your opinion.
My opinion of the game?
Yes.
Well, it took how long do you think it took to teach me and you played? An hour? No, not an hour. Half an hour.
No, I did with City of the Big Shoulders like I do with most games. I get on YouTube to see if there's a video where I can watch somebody play it.
Yeah, but
there is a decent little run through, but not something straightforward.
When you were watching, like you taught me, I'd say it took 30 minutes if I really think about how long the time took. Because it was just me and you. We started playing, and I had to have you keep reminding me of stuff, especially when it comes to the dividends. That just racks my brain.
So this game does its best to simulate the fluctuation of stock prices in a business. So to give you a flavor of how this game plays out, you can start a company, and all the companies are various real-life companies that were in the City of the Big Shoulders of Chicago at the time. And
why is Chicago like a big... Why is the stock market taking place there?
Because there's a lot of companies started in Chicago, centrally located, a lot of access to the east and west.
Okay.
Either way, when you start a company, you invest in it, you have shares in it, and then when the company produces...
Do I believe in love? Sure.
I know. Produces its shares. I get that. I'm all right. Look, you're trying to dig yourself out of the hole of the excrementalist with using share jokes.
No, don't say the whole of the excrementalist.
look. I'm done talking with you. You have just no. This is a highbrow podcast.
Since when?
Since ever. So in the City of the Big Shoulders, you're investing.
I love this game.
Wow. Just go ahead and spoil it.
Okay. I do.
You're love
talking
it?
About it. I love it. It is hard. It is complicated. It is not easy. It is not smooth. I have to keep referring to how the timeline goes of the action phases. I love this game.
Wow.
And I'm not an economic guy.
You just told me a minute ago not to use the term love to describe things because it's such a strong word.
No, I said don't use it loosely.
Okay, so let me ask you this, Mr. Excrementalist.
Okay.
In terms of games, when you say love, is this game a potential top 10 for you?
Yes.
Holy cow. Enrique, is this game a potential... You've only played it once, Enrique. Is it a potential top 10 for you?
I would have to play it again because I did do very poorly
my
first run.
But you bought into a company, which I then sold out of and stuck you with it very
poorly.
But you didn't do poorly.
Me and Jared kind of knew. You probably didn't I don't know that you were fully aware that what Jerry was going to do to you.
Yeah.
Which is
part of the joy of this game.
Which is the advanced variant of this game allows you to do hostile takeovers on other people's company, and then
that is amazing.
And which you take their little player board with their company, and then you slide it over to your side, and you get to control their company. That another thing that it allows you to do that if you have a company that other players have bought into to a certain point, you can then completely sell out of it and stick them with a defunct Enron type company.
So Jerry had his company up to like 80.
Like $80 a share.
And he had majority, but Enrique had bought in at 30, and 30 is like the bottom end limit of what you can buy 30% to have control of.
Yeah.
So Jerry sells all his shares, bottoms out the market on this company, and then Enrique has control. And it was a brilliant move. It sucked for Enrique.
Yes.
But I love that. That is just Jerry's joy. He got out of that.
The warm, fuzzy feeling I had of watching the stock in this company for which I babied and then watched Enrique buy into it. And then I sold it. I gutted it. I took the money out of it and I left him with it. And at the end of the game, Enrique's running 3 defunct trash companies that we have pawned off of him.
Meanwhile, Cracker Jack is...
Meanwhile, the Cracker Jack company, the caramel
started
popcorn,
off very slow,
is popping. It was great.
We were popping.
Oh, what was the prize in those Cracker Jack boxes? About $140 a share. That's what that was.
I built that company up from the ground.
Enrique, top 10 or not?
Yes, it could be a top 10. Yes.
I will say this. I'm very impressed with this design. It's obvious that Mr. Chandler enjoys economic games and that he had in his mind what he wanted. And he sat and he took little bitty... The board itself is like little mini games that you're playing. So, for instance, the first stage of the game is where you can just start a company. You get one of the various player boards that are out there of these various companies. You set it up and you decide how much money you're going to invest in it. And you take your money, which is your victory points. Your personal money is the victory points.
You have to know the difference between your money
and the
company's money that you are running. And it's very mathy, so that's difficult. That's what I'm saying. It's not a fluid game. It's not, what would you call that?
It's not eloquent in terms of what is
not
common to everyday people.
What's the term we use where everything makes sense, turn to turn?
Turn to turn, not fluid.
No, we use it all
smooth,
the time.
Eloquent.
I mean smooth, but no, that's not it.
Cohesive. The City of Big Shoulders
Go ahead.
Is a game of long-term planning, engine building, and worker placement. So at the first round, you're starting these businesses, but you're also seeing what other players are doing, and you're investing in those businesses. Then you go into a next phase, which is where you build buildings out onto the player board. These buildings are not connected to your business. These are just buildings that allow you spots to put workers to gain various actions. And so that's like a little worker placement thing takes place all of a sudden, and this little engine building. And then
you have some spots that are worker placement in the way that I go there, you can't go there. There are some spots with the infinity symbol where whoever wants to go there can go there.
Right. And so as it continues on, as the game continues on, it's like your company starts off just fledgling. It's just falling apart. You need workers, you need resources, you need managers, salesmen. You need all these things, and you can't get them. But by like the 3rd or 4th years, and there's only like 5 years in the game, I believe.
5 years.
You're trucking along, and I found it interesting that you could open multiple companies. Enrique was running 3 companies, albeit defunct. Mm-hmm. I ran 2 for a while, and both of them...
Sears and Montgomery Ward.
Were like butter.
Kmart.
Everybody...
Kmart and Sears.
Kmart's still around.
Barely.
Montgomery Ward's is...
Barely.
What's your favorite defunct?
Safeway. I don't even know that they're defunct, but if they're around, they're not as much as they used to be. And I love Safeway because when I was a child, we would go there with me and my mom, and they would have Archie and Jughead comics, and I would read comics from the rack while she would shop.
My mom used to always go to Montgomery Ward's. I don't know if anybody knows about Montgomery Ward's.
I know about Montgomery. There was one in Idabel, Oklahoma.
Yeah, Montgomery Ward's. There was one in Ardmore, Oklahoma. They had an oil change.
I think it is a southern store.
Here's why. When you walk, my mom would go there to take her.
Mom?
My mom would go there.
Mom, Did you shoot her from 50 yards away?
No. She would go and take her Delta 88 Oldsmobile to go get the oil change.
We are so old.
And when you'd walk into the oil change place, as soon as you walked out of it, was all the furniture that they'd sell. So I would go get a book.
Come here if you want. You need your oil change or you need furniture. Come on in to Montgomery Ward.
And I would find a sectional, sit down and read while they changed my mom's oil.
There you go.
One time they forgot to put the oil back in the car. They took the oil out, didn't put the oil in. She started it.
Seems like a key element.
You think so? And then from then on.
Seems like we're forgetting some, boys.
From then on, they had my mom's name up on the wall. She got free oil changes for life.
Did it blow up y'all's car?
No. She got free oil changes for life.
Okay, so I need to know. They didn't put oil back in. How did the car make it home?
She didn't. She started it. Light came on. It made a noise. She shut it off. They rolled it back in. They put oil in it. And from then on, my mom got free oil changes from Montgomery Ward's for life. Montgomery Ward's lifespan lasted 3 more years until they went out of business. She was devastated.
I remember, you're talking about I remember when I would go shopping with Mom, we would go from Valley in Oklahoma, we'd go to Idabel, Oklahoma, because that's where the Walmart and Safeway and all that stuff was.
Of course.
There's nothing in Valley.
There's nothing in Idabel.
Well, there was a Walmart and Safeway back then, and a Piggly Wiggly, deep south. So, I remember...
There are people that were going, Piggly Wiggly.
Hey, watch Oh Brother, Where Art Thou?
Did you get banned from Piggly Wiggly? Was that the store or the entire franchise?
I would, my whole thought process is going back to the earliest book I remember reading, because I would read this book on the way to Idabel with my mama, and it was Clive Cussler books.
Wow.
I was probably 12 years old, and I remember reading all the Clive Cussler books, Sahara, all the Dirk Pitt novels. What's the earliest book you remember reading that was like a legit novel?
The legit novel.
Not kids' books. Like I'm not Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys. I read all that stuff. I'm talking about like a legit novel.
A legit novel. I read, it was a Michael Crichton book.
Or Crichton.
Or Crichton. I'm sorry. Crichton, whatever. He's dead now.
R.I.P.
It
Rip
was, What's
Jurassic Park?
There was one before Jurassic Park, and I can't remember what it was.
Great Train Robbery, Andromeda's Train.
It may have been one of those. Now, I'm sure I've read others before that.
He did the 13th Warrior, Eaters of the Dead.
It may have been one of those.
Eaters of the Dead was excellent.
It may have been one of those because
Congo, Spear.
No, I remember reading Spear. No, I read Spear later in life. But I just remember reading a bunch of little books all of a sudden that like had caught my attention. And I know I read a Philip K. Dick book before Michael Crichton, but I cannot remember what it was. Because I reread
Blade Runner books, like
it wasn't
Sheep Dreams.
Yeah, do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, which is like spot on,
right?
Like spot on. I love that.
The earliest big book I remember, I read nearly all of the Clive Cussler series. Dirk Pitt, I was all about Dirk Pitt. When they made that Matthew McConaughey movie, I was like, he is Dirk Pitt. They nailed it with the casting.
Yeah.
Not so much on Al Giordino because he was like a stocky, barrel-chested guy. Literally, every novel said barrel-chested Al Giordino. And I'm like, that is not Steve Zahn.
No.
But I love Steve Zahn because he's hilarious.
Yeah. But he's not doing anything.
But Matthew McConaughey had the green eyes, the sun skin, the sun-tanned skin. Sun-kissed skin. I was like, man, they nailed it. But Sahara bombed big time. But it made me sad because like, oh, Dirk Pitt. He tried Titanic. Titanic was a novel.
Really?
By Clive Cussler. Dirk Pitt brings up the Titanic from the bottom of the sea. They made a movie starring Josh Brolin's daddy. Whatever his name is.
I have no clue off the top of my head.
And it like bombed big time. And so it kind of did Sahara.
Raising the Titanic.
Yes.
Oh no. One should not try to raise old things up. That's what you would call an experimentalist. You don't bring up old things.
So that's good stuff. And I haven't read a Clive Cussler. So finally, Dirk Pitt's he finally made it where Dirk Pitt has children. And now
Little
they're
Pitts.
like taking Dirk Pitt Jr., and they've taken over. And he's literally like handed the stories off to his son, Clive Cussler Jr., or whatever his name is.
Oh.
And I used to love, because I loved adventure novels, and they were full of adventure. I love those books. Michael Crichton's books, read them all. Clive Cussler books, read them all.
It's interesting that we're talking about defunct things and defunct businesses and talking about City of the Big Shoulders, which are basically make a company, either make it good, wait till somebody to buy into it and stick them with it. I must say that I personally think City of the Big Shoulders was it was probably one of the best, I'll not say probably, it is one of the best board games I've played in 2019. It is not for everybody.
No. Good Lord, no.
Certainly a heavy economic game. If you're into games such as, like, of course, any of the 18xx games, those type games. If you're into heavier, like Michael Kiesling games, I said Kiesling. Kiesling, heavy economic engine building
boat
types.
guy you talking about?
Yeah, he's done some heavier stuff. I just feel like this game, for us,
we're board game snobs,
we're
FYI.
snobs. And it's weird that we would find such a game that is a Kickstarter, that's kind of a newer designer, that he would nail it right out the gate. He's made one other game. I asked him, I said, like, is this your first design? He said, no, I made one other game, and he named it, and I had not heard of it. And I was like, well, I said, I don't know what that other game was. It might have been good, it might have been bad.
You nailed it.
But this one, you did a fine job. The artwork, the presentation, everything about it. I will say, with the base game, I don't like the paper money. Just get you some poker chips.
Oh, good Lord, that's
paper money
terrible.
is terrible. There's a little expansion that comes with it that is the actual card money. But just throw that paper money out and just use some poker chips.
Something else, whatever else. I was surprised at how much I liked this game.
I was surprised you liked it. You hate Stockpile.
No, I don't hate Stockpile.
You won't play Stockpile. Nobody will play Stockpile with me.
I played it with you last time, and I won. The last time we played, I won.
That's because I let you.
I like to go out. I like to go out on the top.
Wait, how many years was that?
It's been many years ago.
It's been a while. It's been a while since we played Stockpile.
I love Stockpile. It's one of the lighter economic games I truly think is well ahead of its time.
The the last action section, the last, oh God, Lord, there's like 5 stages in a round of Big Shoulders. The last round is basically Stockpile. So Stockpile is just a super diluted, streamlined version of the end round of City of Big Shoulders. I appreciated that, but I liked everything else that Big Shoulders had. And I'm surprised I like Big Shoulders.
I'm shocked that you like it.
I do surprisingly well.
I know.
I'm terrible.
You won it. When I first looked at the rule book, I thought, Gaby's not going to like this. Enrique's not going to enjoy it. This is going to be one of those games that I'm going to really fall in love with, and nobody's going to play it with me. And I just remember the first time I played with Gaby, he about halfway through, he's going, I really like this. I'm really enjoying this. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, I like running my little business.
And we quit that game like a round or two ahead of time.
Yeah.
But I was ahead.
Yes.
I was winning.
Yes, I had to leave.
I loved it that way as well.
Yes, you did.
And then we played this game, 3-player. We played 2-player. We played 3-player. Me, Jerry, and Enrique. I won that one as well.
I think
I could see it even as 4-player. It expands enough where I don't think it would make a difference. It what do they call that?
Fluctuates. It scales.
Scales well.
It scales very well.
And it's just a solid game.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked by how solid it is, and I enjoy the artwork.
If you like 18xx, apparently, which we've never played, we want to, but we've never played. Apparently, this kind of takes that and streamlines the whole stock portion of it well
to a 2 to 3 hour game.
And there you go. I think it's really good.
I really like it. I'm shocked by it that it was just something. It was one that was on my radar for a while, and you can go to the Parallel website to buy it because it's hard to find, or if you happen to be at a convention at some point in time, the Parallel people are there. But it's awesome. I am again amazed.
Who's it published by?
Parallel.
Oh, okay.
This is his own company,
Just
Mr.
said that.
Chandler's. Yeah, it's his own. He's just doing it himself. A great game. Highly recommended if you're into deep economic strategy games. It's got a little bit of everything, and it's just nice. It's super nice.
Do you know North Korea and Cuba are the only places you can't buy what?
North Korea and Cuba are the only places you can't buy Pepsi.
Coca-Cola!
Oh,
I love that! How'd you know it was a soda pop?
Because
I've been shocked by you and Enrique's performances.
well, there is a like tariffs on weird things. And like, well, I should have said Coca-Cola because Coca-Cola is
number one.
Coca-Cola is I love Coke over Pepsi. I don't drink Pepsi. I'm like
I don't drink Pepsi. Well, this is the deal.
Pepsi's dying a little bit.
Anytime you go to a restaurant and they're like, "Oh, we don't have Coke, we have Pepsi,"
like,
just walk out.
No, walk out.
That's Pizza Hut. You're in Pizza Hut.
Let me tell you what makes me even angrier is when they're like, "I need a Sprite." Like, you like Sierra Mist? I literally
made by Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. I did not realize until
Or
like,
Dr. Pepper.
I remember like being 14, 15 years old and traveling north. And when I say north, like this is the first time I went past Kansas. I did not realize that you northerners did not know what Dr. Pepper was.
No. Oh, I have a story for that. Go.
And so when I'm up north and I'm going, I'll have a Dr. Pepper. And they're like, what? You mean a Dr. Pibb?
Mr. Pibb.
Like,
Mr. Pibb, yeah.
me?
It's like,
He doesn't have his degree.
I want a Dr. Pepper. And everyone was asking me later, was like, what's with Dr. Pepper? I was like, it's a barbecue water prune juice tasting. It's like what we drink down here. I haven't drank a Dr. Pepper in probably 10 years. I've cut since I've stopped drinking all carbonated beverages. I use a little
You're
bit.
drinking Topo Chico, it's carbonated.
I know, but I'm talking about like Cokes. Like I use a little bit of Coke in my rum.
Only whiskey.
But now
Only rum.
Yeah. Like now that I've started, and I use a little bit of Sprite when my tummy's sick.
We went to...
Go ahead.
Are you 12?
Yeah, hey, everybody gets a sour stomach every once in a while. You get a little bit of Sprite.
Yeah, but they usually either say
bet-
stomach and that's it. Not tummy.
Jana, what's the restaurant we went to in New York City?
This is
they
perfect.
laughed at me when I said Dr. Pepper.
This is professional.
Huh?
I hope he cuts this out. He's up.
No, he's not.
Everything stays in. So, we go to New York City in 2005.
New York City.
Get a rope.
Go ahead.
We go to Sardi's.
Ooh.
As seen on Seinfeld.
Oh.
Remember when they go to that restaurant and all those caricatures on the wall?
Yes.
I'm like, I want to go to that restaurant. And they're like, that's called Sardi's. We go there. There's a waiter, and he's real, like, highfalutin. He thinks New York is everything. He's asked me, what do I want to drink? I said, Dr. Pepper. He proceeds to literally make fun of me. Dr. Pepper, where do you think you are? I mean, he was like doing it sarcastic, jokingly, but he had an attitude, and he asked me, where did I think I was? This isn't the South. You're in Sardi's.
Wow.
He said, I think he said, we have Coke. I'm like, well, I don't want Coke. I want Dr. Pepper. And he looked down upon me for my request of Dr. Pepper. Why?
Well, it's because that maybe Dr. Pepper is associated with people from the South. And
Why are you looking down on me, though, bro?
Because we're literally down. we're literally southern from them. Maybe that's why.
I will never forget that. Never forget.
I'll never forget that guy.
I couldn't get Dr. Pepper in New York City. I had to the same thing. Right, we got Mr. Pibb. I don't want Mr. Pibb. That's a Coca-Cola product.
Nobody wants Mr. Pibb.
No, it's like
To knock
more
off.
peppery Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, nobody.
Yeah,
There's
no
different.
one cares
You don't
about it.
want too much pepper. Put a little pepper on it.
Put a little pepper on
Like,
it. Put a little pepper on it.
what should we do this? No, just put more pepper and just call it Dr. Pepper.
Enrique drinks warm Dr. Pepper
No, I drink cold,
with no ice.
warm, and hot Dr.
Okay.
Pepper.
We'll drink it
So
anyway.
you'll drink it anyway.
Anything that, as long as it's still drinkable and
Potable.
delicious,
Potable.
drinkable. No, shut up. If you can say tummy, I can say drinkable. Would you
Okay.
leave me
All right,
alone?
that's going to do it for this episode.
City of the Big Shoulders.
Bye.
Look at Parallel's website. Look for it. It's
Parallelogram.
Nice. You enjoy it.
Look at parallel games,
Thank you.
such as Stockpile.
This is Jerry.
This is Gaby.
This is Enrique.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.